I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First item on the agenda is to approve our agenda.
Move. Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. At this point, we'll open the meeting up for any public comment. Does anyone wish to address the commission this morning on any topic that isn't on the agenda? Out there online, on phone? Seeing none, we will move on. Second reading and possible adoption of ordinance 261.
Ordinance 261, an ordinance amending Title 4, second revision, Brown County Ordinance is amended to Brown County Ordinance Title 4. This is an ordinance adding to the second revision of Title 4 zoning, Chapter 4.2015 fences.
Is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 261? Any questions, comments? This is second reading and possible adoption, so seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, landowners concerned with Summit Carbon Solutions rerouting plans. Who would like to start? Mr. Pfeiffer.
Be in the hot seat, huh? Good morning.
Morning, Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. It's been pretty quiet. You guys haven't had Summit on the agenda for at least 5 weeks, I think, probably.
Been a while, yes.
We wore them down. Wore them down? Thank you. And everybody here, thanks you. But anyway, you've probably heard that Summit has been throwing darts at the wall, trying to figure out a route. And I think our speculation is that they're probably trying to avoid McPherson County because of their mile setback, whereas Brown County is 1,500. We don't know just exactly. Nobody's been able to get a copy of a map. Talked to an individual up east of the Elm Lake, and he said that he was contacted probably 3 weeks ago, and that he asked for particular land description of where the proposed pipe was going to go, or where they were thinking that it could go, and he said that they couldn't give him a land description, and so he said that he would, he'd like to see the map, and they said, well, we'll check into that, and we'll give you a call back. Well, he's never heard back. So, but anyway, it'll be 2 weeks on Saturday, I think it is, or Friday, 2 weeks Friday, when I had a call. Well, actually, it's back up a little bit. It was probably 2 weeks ago. Had a call from a operator west of Barnard, wanted to know what was going on with the pipeline. Then I just said, well, that was the first that I'd heard that there was an attempt to reroute, and then got another call from an individual west of Westport. Basically the same thing. Just kind of questioning whether they were interested in signing an easement. No particular route. So then on Friday, I think it was a week ago this past Friday, it was day after Thanksgiving, had a meeting at Steve Dudenhofer's farm shop, and most of these people that are here, a lot of them that are here were there, and the general consensus is, no, we don't want it. And so I guess what I see in the whole thing is that we've added on to our group of people that are opposed to this pipeline, and we've got the Brown County Commission to thank for digging your heels in and staying on course that that's not a good thing. This absolutely is a money grab. It's got safety issues. It's got land disturbance issues, it's got insurance issues, there's a multitude of issues, and what we're running up against now is that there, and you folks have probably heard about it or read about it, that there's a new group formed now, South Dakota Alliance, they call themselves, and they're gonna be working legislation, they're gonna be doing all kinds of things to try to strip local government of their ability to pass setback ordinances. There's no question in my mind that, having heard that they've hired Lawrence and Schuler advertising company to promote the pipeline, that there's gonna be some major blitz that's gonna go on, advertising, probably even, I wouldn't be surprised if the television cuts that will speak to the importance of this whole pipeline thing as far as the economy, how it's gonna save the ethanol industry, and anything else that you can think of that this pipe is so great for. And so, I guess with all that, unless you have questions of me in particular, would let anybody else that might have something to offer, concerns, stories, whatever. But anyway, again, thank you for supporting the people, they appreciate it, and done good. Thank you.
Thank you. After I saw that it was on the agenda, I reached out to our planning and zoning director to see if he had been provided, or his office had been provided, a current updated map so that we would know what the new proposed route is, and you've received nothing. Is that, Scott? Is that right, Scott? Okay. So, anyone else wish to address the commission? Jared?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks, guys. Like Dennis said, been kind of a while since I've been here. But, like, same kind of type of story Dennis said. I think it was 3-4 weeks, had people up there reaching out to me wondering where stuff was, you know, maybe even thought this was, you know, dead or on a longer pause than it is, which none of us ever accepted the fact that this is going away. They're just gonna try to keep, like that said, now they're throwing darts at the wall. But every conversation I have had, it has been no. They do not want this. And it's not just us 6-10 radicals, farmers that nobody can get along with, that we've been labeled. There's a lot of new faces here, and that's happening all over in all the counties that they're trying to do this. And just kinda like to, glad to see everybody here, and thank you guys for doing what you've done and digging your heels, and you gotta keep this fight up, because the people do not want this project in. And there's a lot of issues with them, even investor issues. I mean, we've seen some things come out, it's not reports we're doing, so we'll keep fighting the fight, and we'll let some new faces give some their input. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Jared.
Like Mr. Pfeiffer stated, I've heard too that there's going to be an attempt during the legislative session this year to introduce a bill or several bills that would circumvent the county's ability to have a final say in planning and zoning and setbacks and all those things. So I think we all need to be very diligent and keep an eye on that, because the last thing we need is the state making decisions for counties on what's going on within counties. You know, local control is critical to having a say in what happens for the future. So, go ahead, Doug, did you have something?
No.
Sorry. Anyone else wish to address the commission this morning on this issue? We hear your concerns, we'll stay on top of it. Ed?
Yeah.
I would think you'd probably sit there forever.
Yeah. Ed's back. Yeah, you're exactly right, Mr. Chairman, about what's coming down the pike. This new group, this allied group, they've been quoted publicly now in the media and at public meetings that there's two goals of theirs. Number one is just what you said, is to take away all local authority from the counties and place it in the hands of the state legislature, which I think is one of the most radical ideas I've ever heard of. I mean, and we have to be, you know, very vigilant on that, and we gotta fight back on that. And then their second goal is that if they have a private company, basically just says that they have a 2/3 percentage of people that have signed easements, whether they've been coerced or did it voluntary, whatever, then that company can use the eminent domain procedure on everybody. We're also opposed to that, and we're gonna speak out and fight that. From our perspective, we've got 3 bills that were coming down that we've already filed with the LRC, which we think are just common sense bills, and we'll see what the reaction is to that. Number 1 is that no eminent domain procedure should be implemented on anybody until there's an actual permit granted by the PUC. Not just pending, it has to be granted. And then the second one, no surveying of any kind until there's an approved permit, whether it's pending. We don't want another situation like we had out at Jared's place or at other people's places. And then the third one is similar, that is going to be outlined, is that it's very specific that no eminent domain should be used for CO2 pipelines. Last session, there was some problems, some opposition to our bill. 1133, we had other utility groups coming in and didn't think it was clear enough and it might affect them. So the attempt this time was to make it specific and very clear. And all those 3 of those bills have been filed and sponsored by State Representative Carla Limbs. And so the LRC has them right now. So that's what we're proposing right now. There may be other ones come down the line, but right now that's what we're doing, and we think they're common sense. So we'll see whether this group that wants to mediate or compromise, we think that's the things that we put in are just common sense bills. But we are going to fight their attempts on their 2 goals as hard as we can. And I appreciate your comments, because I don't think anybody around here wants anything taken away from local control. I know my county commission in Spink County feels the same way, and they're gonna fight it with everything they got, so. And I could imagine, I would assume all 66 counties in the state of South Dakota ought to be concerned about that, because if they take it away on your ability to put it in an ordinance, what's next? They're gonna do away with you entirely pretty soon? I mean, come on here, we don't need the state setting a standard ordinance for every county, because every county has their own individual issues. It's just absolutely bizarre in my mind that they're proposing this, but they are. And Dennis is right. They've employed Lawrence and Schiller. We're hearing that they have given them $1 million to launch a PR campaign to try to drive this through. And their attempt is to get these different groups on board with their alliance. They've approached the Soybean Association. They've got them tomorrow at their annual meeting. South Dakota Soybean Association in Sioux Falls is going to be trying to adopt a resolution to support the pipeline. They've approached the Aberdeen Development Corporation, who some of us just met with them yesterday, to give our perspective. The State Chamber of Commerce president has been all over the state advocating these kind of things. They're trying to get all these groups, South Dakota Farm Bureau, they're trying to get them on board with it. So they're really working people to try to get them to support these types of things. So we got to be vigilant and fight back on these. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Anyone else wish to address the commission this morning? Out there online or on the phone? Commissioners, do you have anything to add? Any questions of the group while they're here?
I'll ask a question.
Commissioner Sutton.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is Representative Brandy Schaefbauer. Sorry, I'm listening from here. But what I want to know is if you have any ideas who might be bringing the legislation for taking the local control away from the counties. And they also, I've heard, want to put control at the state level for solar and wind. So I just wanted to let you know that.
To answer your question, I haven't heard of a particular legislator that's agreed to introduce the legislation, but if we hear of any, is anyone in the crowd spoken to? Okay.
We have a pretty good idea who might, but we don't know that for sure yet.
Okay. We'll let you know, Brandy, if we hear more.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Question for Ms. Lang here. I guess the comment was made about no maps have been out with this potential new route. Do you have anything to share with us today as far as what that route is, or?
Yeah, I was here, my sounds like 5 weeks ago. And you guys made it really clear you didn't want to be, involved in the routing, and it was our job to find the route. So yeah, we made a lot of phone calls, talked to a lot of landowners. It's still not finalized where we're going. We've got a lot of options and different routes that we can take, and once we finalize it, I'll get with planning and zoning and then come here and talk with the final. But I guess the conversation's correct that we're making a lot of phone calls trying to find landowners, and we've had a decent amount of success through, I think we're doing a lot of work Redfield North. But yeah, once we have a route, we'll get it to planning and zoning through the conditional use process. It looks like we've got a couple options that comply with the ordinance, so.
Okay,
Can I?
go ahead, Dennis.
Last Tuesday morning, at 9 o'clock, to make a difference, up in McPherson County, a representative from Summit Carbon Solutions was there at the McPherson County Planning and Zoning Board meeting, and a reference was made by that individual that the paperwork was nearly done, and he made some reference to the fact that it must be quite lengthy, that it was nearly done for request from Brown County for variance. And I guess I was just curious, have you folks heard anything at all? I mean, has there been any connection, Scott, with planning and zoning as far as permitting or variance or anything at all to move this process forward in Brown County?
I think I had 2 meetings, was it?
Yeah.
2 meetings with, Lang, but, that's it. I mean, there's nothing submitted, or we don't have like a date for a planning commission meeting, or, I mean, there's been no review because we don't have any information.
So basically, that was kind of bogus or baloney, that actually there's documentation or paperwork put together requesting a permit.
That I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, not for me.
Yeah.
I can answer that. I've been spending a month putting the paperwork together. It is going to be a pretty lengthy submission for the conditional use permit. I think we're, trying to submit close to a lot of the stuff that could submit it at the state level. So it's not bogus. We've been working on it. Once it's 100% complete, it'll be submitted, but it's definitely going to be a lengthy submission, which, I think.
We kind of have a list.
Yeah, we've got a list together, and, 85% of it we can do before we have a finalized route, so we've been working pretty hard on getting it together.
And so then up in, basically what was going on up in McPherson County was pick at the McPherson County's planning and zoning ordinances and getting all this clarification and all of that. And it just seems strange that here in Brown County, they just move forward with paperwork to get permitted, and up in McPherson County, they pick away at it, and it's just, the whole thing is just bizarre. Nobody really knows what's going on, and so anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there.
Go ahead, Scott.
Brandy.
Kylie.
Or Kylie, yes. Anyway, sorry about that. We have an email from Kylie with a list of items that they are putting together for future submittal, if they apply for conditional use. That's all we have in the office, is just that email. We don't have any other packets or information or anything like that.
Okay. Anyone else wish to comment? Any questions that you'd like to ask? Go ahead, Doug.
I think most of the people here are probably totally against this project as far as signing any type of easement. So, there's never been anybody before the commission in favor of this program. Every time you try to go through, we have this round of people that come and say no to it. So if you don't have the easements, and you have a 1,500 setback from the property line, how are you gonna get through anywhere?
I guess step one is working with landowners, which, I've been doing for the last 5 weeks. We have had a decent amount of success. Them not coming into the commission meeting and publicly making their neighbors angry isn't necessarily meaning they're against the project. Quite a few people actually said, please don't use my name, please don't use my name. It doesn't make them against the project, but we're working hard step one is, you know, making sure it's a compliant route with the ordinance, and then talking with the landowner, so it's not an easy task, and it's not fast, which is why it's been, you know, more than a month, but we're working on it.
Go ahead,
And
Ed.
add one more thing, at the Farmers Union Convention last weekend, they had a panel discussion on the pipeline and property rights, and your commission was well represented by Drew, and in Spink County, we had Suzanne Smith, our chairperson, on there with him. And I just want you guys to know that he did an outstanding job, and it was well received. In fact, they were both so good that they got a standing ovation from the crowd. So you guys can be proud of how he represented you down there. I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Drew. Anyone else wish to comment this morning? I think we have a good understanding of where most of you feel.
One other quick
Go ahead, Tom.
comment, just, and you kind of, not to reiterate what you said, Dwayne, but, you know, as this thing moves forward now, it isn't just a matter of, I saw this happening when I was out in the legislature back 15 years ago, when one of the, matter of fact, it was Mark Mickelson, son of former Governor George Mickelson, had presented legislation that would have done similar to what is going on right now to strip counties of their local control of ordinances. And I guess this summer, there was a summer study on funding, how we're going to fund going forward, how we're going to fund county government, local government. And part of what came out of that was suggestion of consolidation of counties. And someone, I don't know where it came from, but someone made the comment that there are 16 counties that are in nearing bankruptcy or insolvency, and so that's something else all you folks want to keep your eye on too, is because if they can get that pulled off, it's a whole lot easier to bribe 5 counties that have got one board of county commissioners than it is to come in front of 25 people that have got local control. And so this thing that's going on with this whole, what this pipeline thing has pulled out is unbelievable, and just to see the people come together is great. I mean, this group has been referred to as the minority, just a small little group of people that's causing all this rift. Well, that's not true. This is going to affect the entire state of South Dakota and local government and local control if we allow this thing to continue on. So all you guys, keep it on your radar that when these bills come up, you might need to maybe get somebody else to feed the cows some morning and come out to here and get in those committee hearings and tell them, look, we still want to have grassroots and we still want control of our counties and our townships. So, thank you, I said enough.
Thank you, Dennis. Anything else before we move on to the next issue?
And like Randy said, it's gonna be solar and wind and everything. It doesn't just stop at the carbon pipeline. It's just gonna keep, you strip your property rights away, freedom's gone. So we have to all be watching this stuff.
All right, we will continue to watch and keep track of what goes on in January, February, and Pier. Report anything any new news that we have. But thank all of you for taking time out of your day to come in this morning and expressing your concerns. We'll continue to do the job that we can to preserve landowner rights and make sure that we have a voice.
Thank you.
With that, I want to thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please do make sure everybody signed in before you go, though, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Did you need to get breaks to help you take that check to the
No,
bank? How'd that work out?
No, I'm fine, I didn't have to. Now, if I had your money, then I'd probably have to do it.
Got holes in my pocket.
All right, now we will move on to the consent calendar. Lynn?
Approval of the general meeting minutes of November 28th. I sent out a revised copy.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Denner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims and payroll.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Motion by Gage.
Second.
Second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claim assignment?
Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Abatement?
Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Weiss. There were a bunch of them this morning. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request?
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Gage, or vice versa. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
With me.
Set hearing date for retail malt beverage and Custom Farm wine licenses for outdoor advertising agents. I just need to clarify with you guys what date we're gonna meet, at the end of December, the 27th and the 28th.
Wednesday or Thursday work better for everybody. Either one works for me.
27th or 28th?
27th is Wednesday, 28th is Thursday.
Yeah, you got 27th down, and I can't do it for some reason.
Kind of, we discussed, I wanted to verify this.
I don't think you care.
Okay, let's make it the 27th at 8:45.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we have taken action on that. We need a motion to set the hearing date. Motion by Gage,
Second.
second by Feldheim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Stacy likes to do
Right, check. All right, is there any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
I'd like to go into exec, discuss contract, please.
Okay, we also have a request to go into exec for personnel by HR. Okay, for personnel. Okay. Motion by Weiss, second by Dennert to go into exec for a laundry list of issues. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in exec. All right, we're back in session, out of executive session with no action as a result. Is there anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Weiss to adjourn, second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank